Here's our program with the variables again. Let's talk about this print statement. There's two reasons for putting that print statement there. The first reason is that you actually want the user to see the output of the program, which is a little bit unlikely these days because in most cases programs aren't text-based, they're actually GUI-based. So the second reason why you're probably putting this print statement in is so that you can check to see whether or not the value of the sum variable is correct before you proceed in writing more code in your program. In other words, you're using the print statement as a debugging tool. Now, the Java print statement is particularly ugly and long. There are some options within Eclipse to make it easier for you to automatically type that thing, but let's look at another way of checking the value of the sum variable. You'll notice that there's this blue margin over here. You can double click on the front of one of the lines that actually does something. In this case, the first line of the program that executes the statement int x equals 57, and that sets what's known as a breakpoint. And a breakpoint just says run the program until you hit that line and then stop so I can have a look at things. Now, when you want to run the program, instead of using this little icon here that runs straight through, you now have to move over and use the debug icon, our friend the bug, and the bug is the thing that's going to allow it to stop when it hits that point. Okay, so choose the bug, it runs, click remember my decision. What it's going to do here is it's going to essentially reformat the view on the screen, and it's just asking if you want permission to do it, and the answer is yes, always do that. Okay. Now notice the screen has changed around a little bit. We've still got our source code window here where we can examine the source code. We've still got a breakpoint set there. But notice there's a little tiny blue arrow next to that line that says that's where we're currently stopped. The line itself is in green, and that says that's a line that we're about to execute. So notice it stops before that line is actually done. Okay? So here's x equals 57. When you're using the debugger, the important things are on this little line up here. And for us, the most important one at the moment is this thing that says step over. Every time you step over, the program will execute one line of code. So you can essentially run it in slow motion to see what it's doing. So we'll hit the step over button, and let's take a look and see what's happened. It says, oh, okay, if we made a variable called x and gave it a value of 57, in the variable display, there's our variable x with a value of 57. Right. Do another step over, and it will execute the next line. And it will show you that the value of the y variable is currently 23. The other way of seeing the value of those variables is to mouse over them. So if you mouse over them in the source code, it will also show you their value. So in this case, we're going to make a brand new variable called sum, and it's going to have the value of x plus y. One more time with the step over, and there's the value of the sum variable. Okay? So now we get to the print statement. If this print statement was just for debugging, it's really of no use to us anymore because you can now see the value of the variable directly as it's being executed. Okay? So the big saving here from a programmer point of view is you no longer have to add print statements in to check to see what your program is doing and then take them back out again. All that you need to do is simply use the debugger in order to see their values. When you're done with the debugging, one of the key points here is to kill off the current program by hitting the terminate button. If you don't kill it off and you just leave it there, the next time you hit the bug, you'll have another incarnation of the program running again and starting up as a separate program. Okay? So you really only want to have one of those active at a time. I think it's actually something they should have fixed in Eclipse and left the default value as being always terminate the program. So we'll hit the terminate button because we're done with that program. And then if you want to go back and see the larger view, the coding view again, you can click on this thing up here that says Java Perspective, and you'll now be back into the coding view for the program, and you can proceed to make some more changes.